Alright, guys. Good afternoon and Happy New Year. It's Monday, January 9th, 2017. It's about 4:03 New York time. And I hope everybody had great holidays. Whatever you decided to do, whatever holidays you celebrate, hope you just got some time to unwind and get away from things, enjoy some time with friends and family, maybe party a little bit, whatever you decided to do. So I hope it was good and ready to get back and hopefully have a successful 2017 in the markets. Markets were a little quiet last week with the kind of the transition week there. A lot of people took last week off too, so markets weren't all that active, although there were some good moves last week. But I think this week we're kind of heading back into it here. So I just wanted to cover one thing and some news that's coming out in a few hours here. So at 7:30 p.m. New York time tonight, we have the Australian dollar retail sales number coming out, which is a red level news, which means they expect high impact from that, and it can be a market a pretty good mover for the Australian dollar. They are expecting a worse than expected, or worse than last time. Excuse me, 0.5% positive, 0.5% last time. They're expecting 0.4 this time. And so any move at 0.4 or lower is going to send the Australian dollar down. And how much we'll see. But I did want to cover where things are looking right now. So if we go to the Aussie Swiss, I actually am long this market right now, but I'm not expecting it to go much further. Um, we have this situation. So zoom out a little bit. This goes back in time now. Um, we've got an overall downtrend going here. Okay, so I'm looking at this as a correction. This whole move is a correction to the upside, to the longer term downtrend. And so I'm looking at this whole thing um, as an A, B, C. Okay, this is an ABC, and then we've got a little ABC in between here and here. And anyways, we'll just get rid of this one just not to confuse things. So we get an ABC here. Okay, this whole thing. Um, so you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got a three-way move down for B, and then you've got 5 waves in progress up for C. Now, typically on an ABC, your A and your C, an estimate, a quick cheat would be the A and C are the same length. Okay, so if you measure this A, it's it's about 150 pips for the A. Okay, let's just make sure about that. Yeah, it's about 150 pips on the A. Okay, now if you take 150 pips up on this, takes us all the way up to the 75.48 area. Okay, now there's no way, especially on this pair, that this is going to go. 75.48 is another 80 pips from where we are now. There's no way that this is going to go up another 80 pips. I just don't see it. This is not a high pip pair, the Aussie Swiss. So, I started thinking about it and looking at other pairs and saying, okay, well, what's going on? Well, one of the things that can happen in Elliott wave is that wave C doesn't have to be 100% wave A. It can be a Fibonacci fraction. So it can be, a 0.618. Anybody that trades Fibonacci or looks at Fibonacci levels, the 0.618 is one of the potential targets for wave C. It also could be longer than wave A. It could be a 1.27, a 1.61. Typically, it's around between 0.618 and 100 is what I see. So I'm thinking, well, okay, well, if this isn't going to make it up to 100% between now and when that news comes out, what's the 0.618 level? Well, if you figure it out, let me just get my calculator here again. What I say was 150 times 0.618 is about a 93 pip move on wave C. So that would take us up to around the 74.90 area. Okay, so the 74.90 area, okay, 36. I'll explain that in a second. 36. There you go. Okay, so 74.90, which is right around in here, would make this move 0.618 of this move. Okay, and so for added confirmation, again, wave one. So now we're just looking at this wave one, which looks like is from here to here, from here to here, from this low to this high, is normally about the same size as wave 5. So now I'm thinking this is a 1, 2, 3. We're probably in wave 4 now, heading towards the New York close, and we'll probably stay around these levels and then go up. So wave 1 of this move up is about 40, around 40 pips or so. Okay, and up to here, 40 pips will take us to about the 75 area. So right around where I said it would be going. Okay, on the whole move. Again, 93 pips. Did I say 93? Alright, take us to around 74.90. So within about 8 or 10 pips of that. Okay, so I'm thinking that's probably a more realistic target. Originally I had it up here at 150. There's no way it's getting up there. There's not enough time. So it's a little bit of confirmation. So again, I'm thinking this is an ABC. Will end when the news comes out somewhere around the 75, between 74.80 and 75, somewhere in that range, and then we'll see a move down. I actually am long this market from around this area, so I'll be looking to get out. I actually won't be home when that news comes out, so I will be looking to lock in and try to exit around that time, whether I'm home or not. Okay, and then I'll be probably looking for this to go down. Okay, so that's the Aussie Swiss. I think the Aussie dollar looks very similar in that respect. Zoom out a little bit on this pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, approaching the end of wave 5. So I think the Aussie dollar, at least on this 8-hour time frame, looks pretty similar. It's about 80 or 90 pips to the upside for wave 1, and that wave 5 would get us back up to around 73, 75. That's also 90 pips. It already has been there. It probably is going to come down and go back up and retest this area and then go down. So there's a little bit extra confirmation on the Aussie dollar. And then the last one to look at is the Euro Aussie. So of course this is going in the opposite direction, and I'm looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to be down for 5. And so if you measure this as the wave 1, I'm looking at about 140 pips. And if this is the end of wave 4, start of wave 5, 140 pips down, takes you right down to about this low right here. So, and again, if you look at, if this is of this wave 5 down, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this is wave 1 right here, this is, about 70 pips down. Well, let's say this was the end of wave 4. I'm not sure, but let's say it is. That takes us right about to there within about 3 pips. Okay, so again, kind of the same thing. I'm expecting that the Euro Aussie will correct up a little bit here. We'll have one more push down over the next few hours back to this low, and then we'll see this market go up. Now this can retrace, the typical retracement level can be, all these Fibonacci levels. So it could go back to these highs, and this is actually a very good one here, because one of the potential areas of retracement is back to the end of the previous wave 4, which would be up here, and you can see that it's right around the 38.2, which is one of the common levels. Of course, it could go 50, could go all the way to 78. So the retracement, if this is the end of the trend that hits, this retracement should take you at least back to here, maybe all the way to here. So I mean, you could potentially trade that. Let's say it does go to here. I mean, on this pair, back to the 38 is 128 pips, 168, 209, 260. So anywhere between 150 and 260 pips on the retracement, if you wanted to trade the move back up. So again, that's what I'm looking at on those two pairs, and the Aussie dollar, as I mentioned, has similar looking characteristics in terms of when it's going to end. Again, again, back to the Aussie Swiss. This is the longer term chart, and again, I look at this as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and this is looks like a nice zigzag correction up that will end and potentially go back down, resume the longer term downtrend potentially on this pair. So we'll see what it looks like. That's just my guess the way it looks. I'll take a look at this in about 2 hours from now, before I head out and after the Asia changeover, and see what it looks like. But that's the way it's looking now, and so perhaps maybe I'll make a follow-up tonight when I get home, and by then we'll probably be an hour or two into the past the news. So it'll be too late really to do anything at that point if you're not already in. But it might be worth kind of going back and seeing if we were close or if we were way off. So anyways, that's it, guys. Any questions, let me know. I hope everybody has a great rest of the day, and we'll